I am so angry. I don't know whether to laugh, cry, or punch a hole in the wall. Good evening. Boy, there is so much to talk about, and I am so pissed off right now. I know you're thinking, well, Floyd, you're always pissed off. Well, yeah, there are different levels of pissed off, and right now I'm probably way up here somewhere. What are you pissed off about, Floyd? Well, gosh, I don't know. What's going on in the news here lately? Police, once again, do something stupid and make everybody angry. And in response, the people who are upset about it decide they're going to do shit that's stupid and make people angry. And in the meantime, we've got governors and mayors who are doing nothing. People expect the police to stop the riots, but you know as well as I do, if they try to stop the riots, they're going to have to crack some skulls, and then they're going to get more shit from people. So what do? Now, I've put together, again, some bullet points here. I'm going to go over and touch on a few things. This may take a while. And I am angry. I mean, you may look at me and think, well, you don't look so angry, but trust me, inside I'm about to pop. And it's frustrating. I don't know what to do. I know what's wrong. I know who is wrong and why they're wrong. But what do you do about it? I'm just a guy sitting at home on my computer, screaming and hollering and typing, and nobody listens to me, so what the hell am I supposed to do? But again, I'm going to talk about some stuff. Maybe it'll help me blow some steam off at the very least. All right, one of the things that I've heard from liberals here lately is, well, the reason there's so much rioting and looting is because people feel unheard. They're frustrated. They're angry. Well, duh. I got news for you, Chief. They ain't the only ones. You think I'm not frustrated? You think I don't feel unheard? Since I've been old enough to understand how the government really works, not how it was intended to work, but how it really works, I've been frustrated as hell. This goes back to the late 80s, early 90s. I started writing letters to the newspaper, to my representatives, etc., about stripping our rights away from us, abuses of the Constitution, Second Amendment rights. We recently had a 30 to 50,000, depending on who you talk to, person protest back in January for our Second Amendment rights. And everybody there was carrying a gun. And there were black people and white people and men and women. Nobody got shot. One person got arrested. Turns out it was some college girl who, I don't know what she was doing, but the charge got dismissed. You think we weren't frustrated? You think we don't feel unheard despite our protests, despite our letter writing campaigns, despite Lobby Day? We still have gun laws now that infringe on our Second Amendment rights. So, based on your theory, Mr. and Mrs. Liberal, based on your way of thinking, this has been going on for years. You think we're not frustrated? You think we don't feel unheard? Maybe next time we have a 50,000 person rally down at the Capitol, we should just start shooting people. Anybody, doesn't matter who, because, you know, that's like the rioters and looters right now. They're going after anybody who gets in their way. They don't care who it is because they're frustrated and they feel unheard. Well, imagine if we did that. Imagine if we Second Amendment people, feeling frustrated and unheard, decided to march on the state capitol and just start shooting people. Would that be justified? Would it be okay because we feel unheard? I want you to think about these things because you say some stuff sometimes that just leaves me scratching my head. I can't believe the stupid shit I hear come out of your mouth sometimes because you obviously haven't thought things through to their logical conclusions. And this is one of them. To Mayor Stoney in Richmond, I would just ask this. Why don't you just put up a sign at all the entrances to the city of Richmond saying, come on in and burn my city? Seriously, why don't you just say, come on in? That business, we don't need that anymore. This downtown area, who needs that? Just burn it, tear it down. Because you're not doing a damn thing to stop it. And I'm really getting tired of all the excuses people are making for the looters and the rioters. You've lost any credibility with me. Now, granted, who am I? I'm no big deal. I don't have any power or authority or influence to get anything done. I'm just a guy griping on his computer. But no credibility at all with me if you're going to defend that kind of crap. I noticed that Governor Blackface, for any lack of action on his part to help stop this stuff, he sure is making sure his mansion and the Capitol building is protected. He's got all the Capitol Police out there watching out for that. But he's not issuing any orders for anything to happen anywhere else, is he? Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Way to go, Blackface. Like Stoney, why don't you just put up a sign and say, come on in and burn, except the Capitol, because that's where my mansion is. Don't burn the governor's mansion. But everything else, open game. Go for it. All right. Throughout this whole thing, we're being told this is about racism. Now, I'm not foolish enough to believe there is no racism in this country. I've seen it. I've heard it. I know it's there. But the same liberals who get angry with libertarians or conservatives or Republicans or anyone who's not a Democrat, they get angry with them for painting with a broad brush. Well, you can't say that about everybody. Well, you don't seem to have a problem doing that. You don't seem to have a problem at all labeling anyone who's white as a racist. You don't even know me. You don't know a damn thing about me. And yet you're willing to label me a racist. If I was walking down the street during one of these protests, they see some old white guy walking along, they're liable to try to kick my ass just for general principle. Well, imagine if we white folks did that every time we saw a black guy walking down the street. This isn't the 19-teens or 20s where at the height of the Ku Klux Klan membership in this country, where blacks had to worry about getting lynched. And I got a news flash for you. I know you don't want to hear it. I know you don't want to believe it, but you can look it up. The facts are out there from the FBI, crime statistics. More black people in this country are killed by other black people than they are by white people. Now, that doesn't excuse police brutality. It doesn't excuse what happened to George Floyd. But if you're going to take what happened to Mr. Floyd and extrapolate that to mean that all white people are racist, or even that all police are racist, then you got a serious mental problem. And you just want there to be chaos. You want to hate people. And you want to create divisions between people. And I guess it's okay if the city burns as long as it's not your place, right? Leave my apartment or my home alone. Leave my mom's basement alone. But everybody's a racist now, right? Yeah. Maybe you should get to know people before you start labeling them like that. Another reason all this is going on. We demand justice. Justice for George Floyd. Well, hell yeah. Demand justice. The cop that killed him has been arrested. He's been charged. He's in jail now. The other three have been fired, and they're also being investigated not only by the state of Minnesota, but by the FBI. And they're liable to wind up being charged later. If not, I'll be surprised. But they're probably going to be charged too. So everything you said you wanted up to this point, you've gotten. So what the hell are you doing? Now, granted, the trial hasn't happened yet. He may yet be acquitted. I would be really surprised if that happens. But until that does happen, why don't we just calm the hell down and wait and let the system play out? That's how it works. You commit a crime, you get arrested, you're tried, and you're either convicted or you're acquitted. He's been arrested. He's in jail. Can we wait and see what happens now before we destroy the entire country? Could you do that for me? And again, you've got to think things through to logical conclusions, which I don't see happening a whole lot. A police officer kills a man unjustifiably, and you're angry with the police, all police. Gotcha. I understand. I'm with you on that, right? I understand why you think the way you do. You see it on TV all the time, and that's all you see on the TV news. White cop, black victim. White cop, black victim. All right, so you're mad at the cops. Well, explain to me, and I'm serious, if a liberal is watching this video and you hear this question, I want you to, in the comments below, answer the question for me. How is this helping? If you're mad at the cops, how does burning a business down in your neighborhood get your point across? How does going out on the highway, as the videos I just saw from California showed, and trying to break into people's cars while they're sitting in the backup and trying to drag them out of their cars and beat them, how does that get even with the cops? All that does is give the cops another excuse to beat the shit out of somebody. You're wrong. Two wrongs do not make a right. The ends do not justify the means. Did your parents, grandparents, uncles and aunts, did the adults in your life as you were growing up teach you that two wrongs make a right? Because if they did, then you learned something completely different than what I learned growing up. And you need to explain it to me. Seriously, I'm trying to wrap my head around it, and I can't make sense of it. I really can't. Now, I'm not advocating this, but at least if you were going after the cops who you claim to be angry with, that would make sense in one way. I mean, at least you're going after the people you claim to be mad at. But how does beating up some little old lady on the street, punching some white guy in the head, throwing a brick through a window of a local store that you have to shop at if you want groceries, how in the hell does that get your point across? Don't you understand that you're behaving just like the people that you claim to hate? Is that not sitting in with you at all? Do you not understand that? I want you to look at this picture. The bigger picture, right in the middle of the page there, that's a white male. Are you with me? His name, let me bring it up here real quick. I don't want to get it wrong. Is Kelly Thomas. Bet you never heard of him. I bet you. Now, don't you lie. Don't you go look it up now and say, oh, yeah, I knew who he was. I bet you didn't know who he was. Never heard of him. Have you? Now, the inset picture over here on the right, that's what he looked like before the police beat him to death. He was a homeless street person. He had some mental issues. He didn't move quick enough when they told him to get up and move off a park bench. So they beat him to death. Look at his face. Look at it. Don't turn away. Don't scroll past it. Look at the picture. That's a white guy. Did you hear about that in the news? You remember his name? Do you remember the riots? Do you remember the looting? No, I don't either. Yeah, I don't remember it either. But that's Kelly Thomas. That's a white man beat to death by the police. And he's not the only one. I've got another one coming up here in a minute. They didn't beat him to death, but they shot him. And this happens every day too. But the media doesn't tell you about it with the same fervor and vigor and 24/7 reporting that they do when a white cop kills a black man. And I'm not justifying the white cop killing the black man. I know you're going to try to twist it that way because that's what liberals do. I'm trying to make a point. And if you use your brain and you actually start to think about some things, you might start to see what I'm talking about. For every black man who's killed by a white cop, I can show you a white guy who was killed by a black cop, or a white guy who was killed by cops, period. We want to talk about Black Lives Matter. Yeah, they matter. So do white lives. So do all lives. All lives matter. But if you say that, if you say all lives matter, you're immediately labeled a racist. How the hell does that make you a racist? Because I don't choose to pick sides? That makes me a racist? Hundreds of people die every month. Every month. Not just the year. Hell, for a year, it comes into the thousands. In Chicago, black men and women killed by, not by the cops, not by some racist rednecks wearing Klan hoods and driving into the city from out in the country. They're killed by other black people. Well, if black lives are so important as you say they are, as you're willing to riot for, then why are you not upset when that happens? Why does it have to be a white person killing a black person before you get angry? Is it okay for black people to kill black people? It must be, because I don't see you getting upset about that. See, I'm on the side that says nobody should be killing anybody. Murder is wrong. Yeah, murder is wrong. I don't care who does it to whom. It's wrong. Hate crime, I hate the whole idea of hate crime legislation. I don't care if you were angry with me when you killed me. You still killed me. I mean, what the hell difference does it make what's going on up here? You still killed somebody. It's still a crime. All right, let me show you another face. See if you remember this guy. Oops, sorry. And guy on the left. Does that look familiar? You know his name? His name is Duncan Lemp, L-E-M-P. He used to live in Maryland. He's dead now. Do you know why he's dead? Red flag laws. We have those in Virginia now. You think people in Virginia aren't going to die because of red flag laws? Somebody called and reported the guy because he posted some stuff on his Facebook page about firearms. He was a libertarian. He posted on some militia pages, and somebody called and reported him. He's dangerous. He's a threat. Police showed up at his house. Now, the police claim Duncan Lemp confronted them. The family and the lawyers claim that the police actually shot him through the wall of his house while he was asleep in bed. Witnesses to the event have all said the police fired into the house from the outside. He was asleep in bed. He's dead now, murdered by the police. Bet you didn't hear about him, though, did you? Doesn't fit the narrative, does it? Doesn't stir up strife and racial hatred because he's white. Don't you get it? There are people using you. They want you to hate. They want you to believe that it's racism killing these people. They want you to hate the other side. And then they step in and they try to fix things and make it all better. Vote for me, I'll set you free. Sound familiar? Think that still doesn't happen in this country? Get a grip, people. It's happening all around you. You're being used. You're being manipulated. And you're so angry and you're so unwilling to think that you don't even see it. Another thing that's going on in the news right now. Liberals are losing their mind because Donald Trump went over to St. John's Church and was waving a Bible around and doing a photo op. How dare he do that? How insensitive, blah, blah, blah. I didn't hear anybody complaining about the looters and the rioters who set the damn church on fire. No, no. We understand their anger. Let them burn whatever they need to burn. But Donald Trump goes over there for a photo op, like Obama never did photo ops. Al Gore never did them. George Bush, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. You want to go through the list? It'll take a while. They're not hard to find. I mean, you got the internet, look them up. How about the time, I remember one in particular that just, Al Gore went to, I think it was in Connecticut. He had the, and you know, he's a big environmentalist, right? Well, they had a dam closed off to keep water from flowing downriver during a time when they needed to save the water because of a drought that was going on. And he demanded that they open up the dam and, hold on. All right, Kirby, let me go get this. And 3, 2. All right, here it is. Critics paddle Gore in dam rowing row. All right, this is back in 1999, so this has been going on for a long time. It's not like politicians don't do photo ops. Al Gore's campaign was up a creek yesterday after utility officials released 4 billion with a B, 4 billion gallons of water into the drought-stricken Connecticut River to float the Veep's boat for photographers. He wanted to look like Mr. Outdoorsman, right? So he was paddling a canoe down the Connecticut River. Well, the Connecticut River at that point had dried up, and they were saving the water because of the drought to use for emergencies. But they obediently let out all that water into the river so he could paddle his canoe for the photo op. But it's okay, because he's a Democrat. And Democrats can do whatever the hell they please, apparently, and we're not supposed to question it. But let Donald Trump wave a Bible, and by the way, I don't believe for 1 second Donald Trump is a born-again Christian. That was rather convenient, wasn't it? But it's a photo op. Get a grip. That's what politicians do. If you're going to complain about Trump's photo op, why haven't I heard you complaining about the photo ops your people do? Well, we all know the answer to that, don't we? Partisan party politics. Your guys can do it, and it's okay. Anybody else does it, and it's just a big show. It's wrong. He shouldn't have done that. God, you people disgust me. Stop there. All right. Have I covered anything? All right. And getting back into this, I'm not going to pick one side or the other. I know you'd like me to. I know that's how you liberals work. You're going to pick a side. And your side's good, everybody else is bad. Your side is never wrong. Everybody else is always wrong. I'm not picking sides. I'm not getting caught up in that whole race thing. I'm not going to be told who I should and should not hate. I'm not going to hate somebody just because they look different than me. Now, I'm not saying I don't hate people, but if I hate you, if I hate someone, it's because of what they've done, not because of what they look like. Do you understand the difference? For example, right now, I hate all those dumbasses that think it's okay to go out and burn things and hurt people and destroy cities. Yeah, I hate them. Black, white, I don't care. I've seen plenty of white people. In fact, most of the people I see starting shit out there are white. These Antifa idiots. So you're not going to suck me into that. You may be able to do it to other people. You may have fallen for it, but I'm not. So people, all I'm asking you to do, think things through. Before you open your mouth and say something stupid again, think things through to logical conclusions. Because right now you're not doing that. The rioting, the looting is wrong, period. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care how you try to reason it away or explain it or make excuses for it. It's wrong. Unfortunately, now we can't expect the police to do anything to stop it, because if they touch somebody, they're going to get in trouble all over again, even if they're doing their legitimate job. I mean, hell, Mayor Stoney just this afternoon apologized for the police using tear gas to break up a crowd at the Lee Monument. But they were peaceful, Floyd. I got news for you. Some of those peaceful people destroyed the Lee Monument with graffiti and were trying to tear it down. Oh, yes. I saw the videos. The Jeb Stuart Monument, they're talking about tearing down the Lee Monument. They're trying to put ropes around it to pull it over. So, is that peaceful? I don't think it is, but call me crazy. I'm angry. I'm angry about a lot of things. If race is the big problem, if it's all these racist white people out here, then how come nobody in Richmond is going after the Arthur Ashe Monument? How come nobody's going after the Bojangles Monument? Maggie Walker. Think of all the monuments or special historic sites we white folks could go after if that was really what it was all about. If it's really about the race hate and we just want to stick it to the black man, why aren't we out there rioting? Why aren't we out there destroying things that we don't like? Because maybe that's not the problem. Maybe the problem is you and the media that wants to stir up this race hate because it benefits them. And politicians who want to stir up the race hate because then they can step in and try to fix it and vote for me and I'll make it all better. Stop being an idiot. Stop being played. They're using you. Wake up.